I'm Scott Moore, and I'm a performance engineer. I help to make software and applications faster, better, more resilient. Lately, there's one thing on my mind.
Where's the best barbecue at, man?
So I'm going across the country, talking about performance engineering and barbecue. Join me as we take the performance tour. The Performance Tour continues coverage of the CMG Impact 2020 conference in Las Vegas. There have been many great presentations. I highly recommend you check out any of the on-demand recordings from the CMG Impact website. It was a great event. Of all of the experts at the CMG Impact Conference, by far, the most requested person to be interviewed on the Performance Tour was Wilson Marr. Wilson Marr, welcome to the Performance Tour. So everybody, this is the Wilson Marr that I'm in the presence of. Can you believe it? Like, nobody even believes you're real anymore, right? Because you're a mystical figure. You're like a Buddhist monk that sits inside of a castle, somewhere on a mountain, and people come to you, Wilson, how do I fix this performance issue?
Right, he's mocking me
and,
now.
And from his mountain in Montana somewhere where nobody knows, and he goes, you're screwed, right? So welcome to the show. So how long have we known each other? Like what, 15 years or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. You knew me before I got my white hair. I think you were the cause of it.
Probably was, because I was asking you so many questions. Hey, you put this on your website. What does this mean? Yeah, I think Wilson's website, Wilson Marr, wilsonmarr.com, right, has gotten more performance testers out of a jam at 11 o'clock at night when they're trying to figure out why their load test is failing than probably any other site. So,
I wrote that. It's really only notes to myself. I had no idea what anybody was reading it until one day I walked into this outfit and they said, hey, this is... we're not going to ask you any technical questions because...
You're just going to say, read the manual of my life, right? That's funny. That's funny. So what are you doing these days? What's going on with your life?
Well, a few years ago, I realized that, it's a tough road to be a performance because most CEOs, they get careless, right? Most CIOs don't even know I exist, right? So what I thought was that, in order to get help or even information from the developers and operations people, I had to do something, offer them something. So I started with this GitHub technical training. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. I mean, I basically trained a lot of these guys as developers on how to do that. And then they started inviting me to lunch, right? Okay. And then I realized that, there's a big need for that. So I started with STAR conferences, and they were nice enough to invite me back for a few years to do that, get in GitHub. And then I realized then shell scripts, was really a huge thing that people needed, but it's not really taught in many places. So I added that impact on there. So my hobby in the last few years has been that, and also writing shell scripts or Ansible and Terraform to bring up servers so that way people can start working. And also for performance, a lot of times that we were stuck is because we didn't have that instant capability to bring things up. And we spend months sometimes just trying to figure out how to duplicate the situation.
Right. We keep bringing up SREs and SDETs, and the new motto is everybody's responsible for everything. Everybody's responsible for functional quality, security, performance, and keep adding to that list, and everybody's got. So if everybody's a master of this, I just don't see that as being possible. I believe performance is a niche skill set. It always has been, and the deeper that you go, the more of it you go from like a general doctor, practitioner to a neurosurgeon at some point, right? Mm-hmm. And there's all of these different areas. How can everybody in an SRE group or a group of SDETs be an expert in performance and still, or do we still need a performance engineer? I don't see that as a reality. Am I wrong?
I think a lot of it, again, like I said, is this corporate slotting people in in there. But I think that we have a dawn really right now of these AI bots that will look at millions of different data points every minute, and then be smart about saying, okay, here's the problem here. Like for example, here's this space. This is growing at 1% a week, and you've got 12 weeks, or you've got 2 weeks, and then have different levels of alertment, because there's no possible way I think humans can really, any human, or even a group of people, would be able to understand all these the monitors.
There's
that's
just
out
too
there.
much going on.
It's too much going on.
Yeah.
It just can't. Especially, you expect people to look at a wall of monitors and see, okay, yeah, this is going to be a problem in 3 weeks, right?
Right.
And you really need to have AI capability that looks through all of them and then be intelligent about figuring out what to make alerts for, or automatically taking care.
And you have to know that you can trust that AI ops engine to do what it's supposed to do.
Right.
And if you just generally trust it and you put somebody who doesn't have the fundamental skill sets of networking essentials or whatever, you can still have problems in production and outages even when the machines are trying to figure out the machines, right?
Exactly.
So there still needs to be some brain work there by somebody who says, well, yeah, it says that the CPU is running at 99%, but because the way the code works, it's supposed to take up 99%. That's not actually a problem. AI would have to be fed that information to say, that's not a problem in this case, right? So there still has to be some human factor in there that sets that kind of thing up. I don't know that we're there yet, obviously, but
I mean, machine learning supposedly it would recognize those patterns, but it's the exceptions, right? That where you still need to have human capability and the understanding or the foresight that this is going to trip up. The machine learning is going to trip up in these particular areas and be able to intervene in somehow, which I think is why a lot of machine learning now is geared towards code generation and explainable situation in order to to make it understandable that you can tweak the model once it comes up, rather than just blindly accepting whatever it has. This is where you end up with bias, right?
Right.
So I think
exactly.
really the future is that the profession is just purely focusing on the exceptions and figuring out how to avoid bias. And that would be the computer operator of the future, I think.
Well, thank you for your time, and everybody. Wilson, if you ever see him at a conference,
say hi.
It's okay for you to come up to him and say, without bowing, you can actually talk to him, right? People. So you just like with Tom Hanks in Castaway, you just go, Wilson,
yeah,
and he'll come over. He'll just float over to you.
We'll do a selfie.
That's right. So thanks again for being on the
All
tour.
right, good talking
and
with you.
We'll see you out on the road. We'll see you out on the road on the performance tour. But we got to go.
barbecue.